Welcome to the Thursday meeting of TV Toastmasters. My name is Rick Barron, and I'm the president of the club. We have a really good meeting scheduled for you today, and we'd like to get right to it. But first, what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask you to come join us. We meet the first Thursday at 6 p.m., the third Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Anderson Center, 7850 5 Mile Road. It's an environment where you can come and learn, where you can be coached in a safe, friendly environment to help you achieve those things that you're trying to achieve in your life. Please come visit us at the Anderson Center, 7850 5 Mile Road, the first Thursday at 6 p.m. or the third Saturday at 9 a.m. If you'd like additional information about our club and the meeting times, you can see us online at www.tvtoastmasters.com. That's www.tvtoastmasters.com. Today, our Toastmaster of the day is Steve Ahrenholz. Steve is our current Vice President of Education. He's a distinguished Toastmaster, and he's all dressed up because he just received an award downtown for his volunteerism. Help me welcome Steve Ahrenholz.
Thank you, Rick. Actually, it wasn't an award for my volunteerism, it's my day job. It was the Federal Service Excellence Awards, and it's part of Public Service Week, which we are celebrating from May 1st to May 7th. And today was a beautiful day. We didn't have rain. It was sunny, a gorgeous spring day. So I'm glad that you're here to join us and our guests looking in from home. I need to introduce our first speaker today. She's going to be giving us the word of the day. Viola is our newest Toastmaster member in TV Toastmasters. Help me welcome Viola Jordan. Viola.
Thank you. Our word of today is Art Day. Some of the ways we use it several different ways. Action means to be committed, devoted, enthusiastic, and eager. So, again, ardent is our word of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Viola. Now we're going to start with our prepared speech portion of our meeting today. The first speech will come from Communicating on Television. The actual project is the talk show host. And the title of the speech is Small Home Business Owners Society. Society of Home Business Owners. And it will involve an interviewer and an interviewee. And the interviewee will be Rick Barron, and we'll have our own Viola Jordan up here asking Rick a series of questions. So help me welcome Rick and Viola.
Thank you, Steve. Hi, Viola.
Well, hello, Rick. Nice to see you again. Rick Barron is the Associate Director for the Society of Home Business Owners. And he's also co-author of the soon-to-be-released book, How to Make a Legitimate, Even Extraordinary Income from Home. So welcome, Rick.
Thank you, Viola.
Now, my first question is, how does the Society of Home Business Owners, serve home-based business? How does that work?
Viola, my partner and I created the Society of Home Business Owners to serve the diversity of needs that home business owners have in relation to information and resources. Essentially to create a one-stop shop where home business owners can go to get their questions answered. I've been operating a business out of my home since 1994. And it seemed like I always needed one more person on my team to answer the questions that I had. So what we did is we pulled those resources together under a single umbrella. And now members of the Society of Home Business Owners can get direct access to our online board of business advisors and get prompt answers to their questions so that they can get back to the business of serving their customers.
Oh, very good. Well, tell me, how does the Society of Home Business Owner different from free help business owner, such as receiving service from your local chamber of commerce, the Small Business Development Center, and the Service Co-op of Retired Executive? How does that differ?
Viola, that's a great question. I mean, why would you pay for something that you would potentially get for free, right? It just doesn't make any sense. The good news is there are a lot of people and organizations that are out there serving home business owners. That's the good news. The downside is many of those people are doing so without direct experience in owning and operating a home business themselves. The tools, the strategies, the techniques that people learn in corporate America in what works in billion-dollar organizations often is not directly reapplicable to a home-based business. And so our online board of business advisors are in the trenches every single day. They have firsthand experience, and they share their insights with members of the Society of Home Business Owners in our online forum and in our monthly newsletter.
Now, what is the state of the homeowners in America today?
Home business owners in America today, there's some good news and there's some not so good news. The good news is that probably, based on the research that I've done, probably 70% or more of us wish we could be self-employed. And that there are about 18 million home business owners in the United States today. I mean, that's quite considerable. A lot of home business owners today. The not so good news is that many of those business owners had ardent enthusiasm in pursuing businesses, and the recession forced a lot of them in when they really weren't ready. And so I've seen statistics that say that as many as 40% of those home-based businesses are in trouble and need some outside help.
So what advice do you have for homeowners?
The number one piece of advice that I give to home business owners is pursue your passion. If it feels like work, it's probably not going to get done. But if it feels like fun, you'll climb mountains to get it done. And let me give you a personal example. I recently partnered with a company whose mission is to end obesity in America. I'm healthy, I'm fit, I enjoy eating well and exercising, and I love sharing that passion with other people. So the time that I invest in educating people about nutrition, exercise, eating well, and ending obesity in their lives and the lives of those they love, it's really not effort, Viola. It's a love, a passion that really transcends the time and the work, and time just seems to slip by. The second thing that I would suggest in terms of advice for home business owners is really outsource your weaknesses. I don't know what it was, whether there was a book or a manual that somebody read that said, hey, if you start a business, you've got to do everything. You've got to be everyone or everything to everyone. And that's just not true. There are plenty of people out there that are ready, willing, and able to help home business owners at a very reasonable cost. And for an example, I recently outsourced the search engine optimization tasks that I do for the Society of Home Business Owners website. I had been spending half days, multiple days a week doing this. and decided it was time to find somebody else. I did my research. I found a company that was willing to do exactly what I wanted, very affordably. And in a matter of a week or two, they were able to accomplish what I was unable to do after a matter of months. The third thing that I would suggest for home business owners is they really need to create multiple sources of income. One of anything is bad in business. One customer, one product, one service, one employee, one of anything is bad. If you ask anybody that recently lost their job, if a second income would have helped out, I would think they would all enthusiastically say, absolutely. In many cases, the easiest and the most convenient way to do that is through networking or direct sales. These companies help people create thousands of businesses each and every day, and then turn around and train them to help them be successful. So do your due diligence, align your passion with your work, and soon you may find that you no longer need your JOB.
Well, thank you so much, Rick, for that. Now, how can viewers and members of the audience learn more about this?
If you're interested in exploring membership in the Society of Home Business Owners, you can visit our website at www.sobo.org. That's www.sohbo.org. If you'd like some additional information about a nutritional program for weight loss and ending obesity, you can visit loveyourscale.info. That's loveyourscale.info.
Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you, and
It's my
I look
pleasure.
forward to reading your book. Thank you very much. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Viola.
Thank you.
Well, now we know a bit more about the Society of Home Business Owners. Our next speaker will be giving a presentation from the Communicating on Television manual as well. Carol Kormelink is going to be doing the editorial. Carol Kormelink is going to be doing the editorial, and with that, I'm going to take it to Carol.
We must reduce the epidemic of obesity, as you heard Rick say. Fatness is a life-generated problem caused by the evil twins of overeating and sitting on our buttocks. Make a small change in your daily choices, and you will end up in a vastly different destination than the direction you are heading for now. I've discovered that a benefit of being more active is a reduction in the amount of food that I crave, and also the amount of excess fat on my body. Some small changes that I've made: I actually take the stairs when my knees are saying, "Take the elevator!" This has resulted in a lessening of my knee pain, and now I'm able to move more easily up and down the stairs. Another thing I do is park the car at the end of the parking lot. Walking to the entrance saves time. I no longer circle round and round the lot trying to find the parking place that's closest to the entrance. The easiest way to be up and be more active is to take a walk for 20 to 30 minutes a day, a minimum of 4 to 5 times a week. I used to find excuses for not taking those walks. But I don't have time. But I'm too tired. But I'm too lazy, or it's hot, too cold. But I don't like to walk if I can ride. But. Have you ever felt like this? If we don't get off our butts, we won't accomplish anything. We can change that stinking thinking just by taking a walk with your dog. Go dancing. Join the mall walkers. Start today to do some activity to get moving and start burning that fat off your body. If you are sitting down and watching this, Oh. Keep my papers away. If you are sitting down watching this, get up and stretch. It will change your mental attitude for the better, and you'll have more energy. Wow. Pretty soon, the extra movement that you add to your day will bring benefits. There's slack in your pants, your clothes are more comfortable, and you don't want to eat as much as you did. I have to write morning walk in my daily planner to make me do that, and it's the written plan that helps make me do it whether I feel like it or not. So take that baby step now, write your lifestyle plan, and conquer the evil twins of overeating and sitting on your butt. Reduce the epidemic of obesity in America.
Thank you, Carol. We've had another presentation dealing with the concerns about obesity in our country. Now we're going to go to that part of the meeting where we practice thinking on our feet. This is the Tabletopics portion of our meeting. Our Tabletopics master will be introducing his questions, and then he will call upon one of the people in our studio audience today to respond. Basically, with Tabletopics, you will listen to the question, you will think of a response, and you will deliver your response. You're doing a speech right then and there. Rick Davis is our Tabletopics master for today. Help me welcome Rick Davis.
Thank you, Steve. We're going to do bad book reports today because I know everybody enjoys that. And I'm the teacher, so I'm going to sit here in the teacher spot, and then the student can sit over here. That'll make it easier for the cameraman. So, the premise is that you've spent all summer laying in the sun, eating potato chips, going to the pool instead of reading your book like you were supposed to, and so you ended up not reading the book that you were supposed to have read. And I have a series of books. Nobody here has seen these books, I don't think, but it's an opportunity for you to make up your fake book report for the teacher so that you look like you haven't spent all your time goofing off. So the first one is Confessions of a Public Speaker. Steve, would you come up here and tell us about Confessions of a Public Speaker and why it's so good and we should all read it?
Well, thank you, Mr. Tabletopics Master. Confessions of a Public Speaker. It is a must-read book. I found it to be quite insightful as far as giving me some ideas what I would do in my public speaking. They talk about envisioning your audience sitting there in their underwear if you're afraid of getting up in front of people. Well, this book has that beat. They have addressed both that concern and also our security problems. They're just going to have people flying in their underwear. The other thing that the author spends a lot of time discussing in here is why most speaker evaluations are useless. And that's because people who aren't really that interested in knowing how they did don't care. You don't have to tell them that you think their presentation stunk. They don't care. You could tell them it was wonderful. They don't care. So he says, don't waste a lot of time evaluating. Just get the hook out and haul them off the stage.
All right.
One of the things that I did take away from this book that I think is worth at least cracking the binding on it is to decide what it is you want to talk about before you get up there. Even if you don't have much to say about it, be ardent with whatever it is you do say. If you don't have a lot, just say it multiple times. Maybe it'll sink in. That's my report on Confessions of a Public Speaker.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheila. Sheila was supposed to read this book over the summer and she didn't get to it. And so she's going to tell us about Conversations with Great Teachers. Sheila?
Why, thank you. Oh, and it's by Bill Smoot, one of my favorite authors. He interviewed master teachers from kindergarten through 12th grade, and what makes teachers really exciting. This is wonderful. First of all, master teachers are definitely enthusiastic, very, very enthusiastic. They know how to give just enough structure to make everybody very, very happy. And they need to really, well, I don't know quite how to say this. They need to just get through the day. Actually, a really good master teacher can just get through the day without killing their students. I think that's number one. But I've had some really great, great teachers over the year. Most of them have been in college, and I wish I had had some of those when I was in high school and also in an elementary school. Teachers who made it so exciting I could hardly stand it. In fact, one of my favorite teachers is in here. That favorite teacher taught kindergarten. Now, he wasn't my kindergarten teacher. He let me come into his class and watch him. I was exhausted by the end of the day. He works from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night, getting ready and finishing up for the day. And he has an all-day kindergarten. Fabulous, fabulous teacher. In fact, Oprah liked him so much she had him on. So I am so glad that Bill Smoot included him in here. So all in all, I would suggest anybody who thought about being a teacher or wanted to think about how good is my child's teacher, they should be reading this book because they will understand what makes a really great teacher. Thank you so much.
You'd think that she'd read the book. All right. Now, Viola, you were supposed to read In Search of Memory by Eric Kandel, who is a Nobel laureate. And he talks about training different animals and things to learn things and memory and where memory is located. And so you need to tell us what the book was about and how you liked it.
Well, thank you. You know what? This really turned out to be one of the most interesting books I've ever read. And actually, just the cover itself. I mean, the face. Do you see that face? I mean, how could you not take that seriously? Well, the animals and actually, I am really. I love animals, but the points that I think that he tried to make in this book was really it really was quite distasteful. I mean, most of it was. I mean, actually, he referred to animals as having a mental illness. Can you imagine that? And he talked about giving them psychotic medicines and antidepressant, and he also talked about how animals sometimes have a spirit of human nature. That I could not get with. I just couldn't get with that. He did a lot of experimentation with animals also in this book, and he got I thought he went too far to the the other side with this, with some of his writings, and he talked about animals having long-term memories and short-term memories. Mm-hmm. I really had a hard time with that. But I can tell you this: I would recommend this book for any of you that love animals. I recommend it. I really do strongly. I recommend, and it's very good reading, interesting. And thank you.
Yeah, the animal that Eric Kandel uses is the sea slug, so it's hard to love a sea slug. All right, Rick Barron, you're supposed to read this one over the summer, The Tools of Science. The Tools of Science by Jose Russo. So if you could tell us about your book. And
thank you. This book was absolutely fabulous. The thing that was so incredible about it is that it explored all of those cool things that you really never knew how they worked. So you had a chance to learn about how a microscope works, how a telescope works, how a micrometer works, how all these new interesting tools really work. And there were a lot of pictures and illustrations. So for people who were just not into the technical jargon and all of the details, it really provided a step-by-step approach on how all of these tools worked. And ultimately kind of culminating in teaching you about some of those things that we really all want to know about, and that is, how can you get the space shuttle into orbit? How can the space station actually stay there? The Hubble telescope, I mean, it just kind of defies the whole concept of how all this works. And fortunately, all of that is discussed here by Mr. Russo in this book.
All right.
So definitely a must-read. If you're somebody who likes Star Trek or that kind of stuff and really want to know how all those gadgets work, this is a book for you.
Thank you. All right. We have one left. Who's going to get chosen this time?
Carol.
All right, Carol. You're supposed to read this book. It's called Sleights of Mind: What Neuroscience of Magic Reveals About Our Everyday Deceptions by Stephen McClintock and Suzanne Martinez Conde. So,
I hated this book. That's why it was so difficult for me to read, because I didn't like the cover, and that made me not even want to get into it. And the spoiler alert, what's that mean? It had all kinds of crazy things in here that just left me really upset about having to read this book that I would be assigned a dumb book like this. A spoiler alert. All these. The following section describes magic secrets and their brain mechanisms. I sort of got into it as I got through, about halfway through. Then I started understanding, and it would say the spoiler alert and then the end of the spoiler alert. So it would explain a lot of the things that may the force be with you, and it explained what that meant. And so I then went back and flipped through some of the other things to see, welcome to the show, but please leave on your blinders. What did all that mean? It's like jarring. I just didn't understand it all. But once you get through it and you understand how things aren't what they seem, it was sort of interesting. I don't know that I would recommend for anyone, but it was okay.
all right. Thank you. All right. You're all off the hook.
Thank you, Rick. I always enjoy your non-read book reading assignments where we have to describe what we've learned from a book we've just seen in the last 15 seconds. I think it would be interesting one of these days to actually read one of them, and not read it from cover to cover, but just at least read in it enough to have an idea whether our presentation is at all close to what we might think if we'd actually read it. Now we are at the evaluation portion of our meeting, and I need to call upon the various members of my evaluation team. I'm not sure who is evaluating whom for our prepared manual speeches. I believe that Carol is going to be giving us the evaluation for Rick's interview, his annual project from the Communicating on Television. Are you going to also evaluate Viola, or?
No.
So we're just having an evaluation for Rick today?
No, someone else is supposed to be doing Viola.
Oh, okay. Well, let me get our first evaluator up here this afternoon. Carol Kormelink will be evaluating Rick Barron. Carol?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. The objectives of Rick's talk show project was to understand the dynamics of a television interview or a talk show, to prepare for the questions that may be asked of you during a television interview program, and to present a positive image on the television camera, to appear as a guest on a simulated television talk show. Rick, I thought you fulfilled all the objectives of the talk show. In fact, I thought you were, with your enthusiasm, and it seemed that you were more in control of the show than the host was, which sometimes that's good and sometimes it isn't, but it flowed really well with the interview. I thought the questions flowed very smoothly, and it said, were you prepared? I thought that you gave the impression that you were very well informed and ready. You had rehearsed and practiced on answering questions you might be asked, and it flowed very smoothly. You were dressed, you looked the part of a successful Society of Home Business Owners owner, and I thought that your story did well. I noticed that you used alliteration, which is always catches my hearing. Pursue your passion, the PPP, and if it's fun, it will get done. You had some of the rhymes in there. So you made it interesting when you were explaining what you were doing and why you were on the show. And I think if this had been a real talk show, I think it would have been effective. Your phone would probably be ringing off the hook of people wanting to know, how can I get thin with that thin stuff that you're just starting now? And I enjoyed hearing about this, and I'd like to hear more about your home society of business owners. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Carol. Our next evaluator is going to be Rick Davis, and he is going to give us his evaluation of Carol's editorial presentation. Rick?
I feel like a one-armed paper hanger with the hives. Right? Okay, I'm going to get over here next to the microphone so people can hear me. All right, this is out of the Advanced Communicator Manual, Communicating on Television. And the particular project that Carol had was Straight Talk. The first project in that manual, the objectives are to effectively present an opinion or viewpoint in a short time, to simulate giving a presentation as part of a television broadcast. I think you did a great job. What was the news event? The news event or current issue is the obesity epidemic, and we all have been hearing about this, and this is something that's a lot of people are very concerned about. In fact, the agency that Steve and I work for is very much into trying to find solutions to this. The reaction was that she's against obesity, and it's hard to be for obesity. So it's not real controversial, but it is interesting. And you, instead of like presenting a lot of logical reasons why you should be against obesity, you gave us some ideas about how to cope with obesity, or how to reduce obesity in society by increasing our movement and all that. Were the words chosen carefully, short and clearly pronounced? Buttocks. Buttocks. Did the speaker relate convincingly to the television camera? I think you did. It was interesting the amount of switching around that we were doing, even though you were looking straight ahead, and that was good. That was the way you were supposed to be doing it. Your appearance was appropriate. You looked very much like you knew what you're talking about. And it asks, finally, how effective do you feel the editorial would have been had it been actually broadcasted? Of course, it is going to be broadcast, so, or at least sent out over the cable waves, I guess. So I really enjoyed your talk, and I think you did a great job, and I look forward to future projects. This is like the first time I've forgotten to shake.
Thank you, Rick. I'll ask for our timers report. And Viola, are you doing grammarian and odd counter, or you're not? Okay, that's not a problem.
I did a few, but I didn't catch
Okay.
everyone because I had.
Carol, why don't you come up here and give us the timers report? I'll sit down, and
Okay.
you can have a seat as well.
Yes, I will sit down. For the timing today, on Rick and Viola, they were to do 10 minutes, and no, they weren't to do 10 minutes. They did 10 minutes. They were to do 5 to 7, and they did 10. I was to do 3, and I did 2 minutes and 50 seconds. On the table topics, 1 to 2 minutes. Steve The Confessions of a Public Speaker took 2 minutes, right on target there. Sheila, Conversations with Great Teachers, thought you really read the book, 1 minute and 38 seconds. And Viola, In Search of Memory, 1 minute and 47 seconds. Rick Barron, The Tools of Science, really made that up well, 1 minute and 22 seconds. And for mine, Sleight of Hand, 1 minute and 16 seconds. For Rick's evaluation of me, it was 3 minutes, and I forgot to time.
That's all right.
I forgot to time the other evaluation.
That's because you were giving it.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Carol.
And the all counter, Rick Barron used Ardent, Steve used Ardent. Viola had quite a few double clutches, I, to the, and quite a few ums as you were talking. You sort of did a pattern of You didn't do just one. You were thinking aloud, and that's why we use the ums to fill the silence. So that once you're aware of that, you will notice that you will cut down on the number of us. Other than that, I wasn't really listening a whole lot. We said 3 jobs to be doing, and that was what I caught.
Thank you, Carol. You still caught quite a bit. Well, as general evaluator, I am obligated to provide some comments on our overall meeting as well as the evaluations that were given by the evaluators. One of the things that we are suffering from tonight is the fact that we are all doing multiple roles. I think that our audience probably will pick up on some of that. The person I am most impressed with is Sheila, because Sheila is serving as our director today for our program, as well as coming in here and doing a Tabletopics, which I think she did very well. I thought that that was a good job for flying in here, grabbing the book, and giving us an assessment of a book she's never read. We started our meeting on time. I think that we all can probably slow down a little bit because we're all throwing in some of the ahs and ums, restarts, or double clutches where we repeat a word at the beginning of a sentence. Our timing is also a bit fragmented today because our timer is trying to do a couple of different roles at the same time, just like the rest of us. I would encourage you to see if we can all talk some of our other members into coming to our Thursday night meetings. One of the other things, and I'm remiss myself in this, is inviting people in some of the other clubs that we know to come and check us out. They now have an opportunity to come on a Thursday night as well as the 3rd Saturday of each month. I think overall we did a really good job considering the skeleton crew that we have, and I would like to turn the desk back to our club president so that he can give us any closing comments that he wishes to share, as well as adjourning our meeting. Help me call Rick Barron back up to the podium here.
Thank you, Steve.
Do you want me to stay here or shall I leave?
You can stay here,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I think it's been a great meeting today. You said it very well, that this meeting today was really about everybody doing double duty, and sometimes triple duty or even quadruple duty. And we pulled it off. I think we pulled it off really well. It was a good testament how a group of people can work well together when they have a common objective. Don't you think?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I think it worked really well. And so if this is something that's missing in your life, if it's something that you're looking for, to be able to join a group that's really enthusiastic about something, is trying to create something and build something and grow during the process, please come explore TV Toastmasters. We meet at the Anderson Center, 7850 5 Mile Road, on the first Thursday at 6 p.m., the 3rd Saturday at 9 a.m. Visitors are always encouraged to come. And if you'd like some additional information, you can visit our website, www.tvtoastmasters.com. That's www.tvtoastmasters.com. This closes our meeting of TV Toastmasters. Thank you.
I'd like to begin tonight with a little joke. This guy, he's a farmer, and he says, "Hey, hello, sorry." But seriously, folks,
Speaking in public is no joke.
farmer says, doctor says, chicken says,
For help, call Toastmasters, the public speaking support group.
the chicken